Throughout history, Canada and the United States have faced many challenges together, and our friendship has endured. Today, we came together in the House of Commons to strengthen that friendship, to speak about our shared future, and to hear from President Joe Biden as he addressed Parliament. Watch here. Zarif News Bangladesh.
Make no mistake, these are serious times. When the consequences of a warming planet are intersecting with the aftermath of a global pandemic, when an unjustifiable war in Europe has shocked the conscience of the world and exposed the vulnerability of energy markets and supply chains, when families are facing the pressures of inflation and struggling with affordability, when citizens around the world feel anxious about their future and their kids' futures. Mr. President, as it should be, our two nations stand united in this moment, finding solutions side by side. On va continuer de travailler ensemble pour créer des emplois, bâtir des économies et des sociétés plus saines et plus durables. L'économie, l'environnement et la sécurité sont interreliés, et ça n'a jamais été aussi clair. It has never been more clear that everything is interwoven. Economic policy is climate policy, is security policy. People need us to think strategically and act with urgency, and that is exactly what brings us together today. Mr. President, throughout our history, Canada and the United States, as friends and allies, have faced many challenges together. Pandemics, recessions, wars. Here in this House in September 1939, members of Parliament debated going to war. A few years later, Canadian and American soldiers were fighting against fascism shoulder to shoulder. There are battlefields around the world where our soldiers lie in cemeteries, shoulder to shoulder. War has now returned to Europe. As you well know, Mr. President, Canada will continue to stand strong with Ukraine with whatever it takes. Together, both of us are partners that Ukraine and the world can count on. Since Putin launched his brutal invasion, like you, Canada has provided significant military support, in our case, artillery, ammunition, armor, and tanks. From 2015 to today, with Operation Unifier, the Canadian Armed Forces train the brave members of the Ukrainian military, about 35,000 of them and counting. With partners and allies, we've both used sanctions and punitive economic measures to continue to deplete the Kremlin's war chest after a terrifying... Il y a un an, notre ami, le président should be. Our two nations stand united in this moment, finding solutions side by side. Climate policy is security policy. Wars. Here in this House in September 1939, members of Parliament debated going to war. A few years later, Canadian and American soldiers were fighting against fascism shoulder to shoulder. There are battlefields around the world where our soldiers lie in cemeteries, shoulder. Natalia arrived in Canada from Ukraine more than 10 years ago. Give us a wave, Natalia. Yes, thank you. She arrived in Canada from Ukraine.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.